Hi you guys, welcome. It's been a while since I've done full-on horoscope videos. I love to do it. They're so time consuming. I've been very busy, and I still am going to be busy for a while, and so I decided to do readings that are good for 3 months. So like for a 3-month time period. I hope that's not like, I don't know, in one ear and out the other in sort of the span of 3 months. That's kind of a while, but hopefully it'll be kind of a generalization for that time, and then I'll be able to do some smaller readings too in the sort of in-between time. Go back and reference these videos, of course. Yeah, just to give you guys a little bit of sort of something. So they're for June, July, and August, and they can be for any sign in any planet, whatever resonates. I also want to say, because I am doing or the structure of these is sort of longer because they are 3 months long, and I wanted to kind of like do some extra, so they're longer. And I do have a basically they're like 4 parts. I'm giving you a general information, and then a sort of a timeline, which is just sort of a, I don't know, supplementation to the general information, and then advice and outcome for that, and then also doing an overview of your love, career, finances and stuff, and also health. And so that's what I wanted to say, was because I am sort of integrating like a health thing, just to talk about that for a minute. And this goes for everything, right? I don't really worry too much about doing readings and giving people advice, because I feel like in the end people kind of, I don't know, they end up doing what they're going to do and what they feel is right, sort of. It's just like kind of like a guidepost a little bit. So you're really looking for that familiarity. If it's not familiar, don't follow it as advice, right? And be conscious of yourself using any kind of advice, but especially things like this, as sort of like an excuse for anything. You know, and especially when it comes to your health and stuff like that, obviously, like health professionals, all that kind of stuff. But it's just kind of like a guideline. If it seems familiar, you know what I mean, you might want to go back to it and look at kind of what other information is surrounding that, right? Sort of thing. So hopefully that all makes sense. I filmed these videos. I've been traveling, so I've been filming these videos sort of camping. That's why it's taking me so hecking long, and I'm like way behind schedule because I'm just, you know, weather and stuff like that, wind and all that. So they're kind of filmed in various locations, environments, quality. Hopefully it's not too much of a problem, the audio and stuff like that. As usual, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think, if these were helpful, if you enjoyed them. Give me a thumbs up if you can, if you'd like to, and subscribe and all that. And yes, I hope that you enjoy. Hello Virgo, welcome to your reading. Let's get started with your general energy. Seems very like strong and positive. I'm seeing, like, firstly, sort of a period of, like, storminess ending, kind of, and of more, like, stability in your emotional self, I guess. And also, like, maybe, like, a holding of tongues, sort of, I guess. I don't know if that's just from you or from, like, situations in general or something like that, but some things, like, being, like, less kind of expressed or expressed in a less like dramatic and emotional and like stormy way. I don't know, things look kind of positive, and they look like they're sort of like weighing out to your favor, kind of. There might be a little bit of like jealousy and upset from other people because they maybe feel like that's not deserved almost, but for you it's kind of I don't know, it's just a real stability sort of, and it's sort of like a I don't know, it has some movement to it and some inspiration and airiness a little bit, but it's also like just so stable, right? It's not like emotionally like distraught, I guess, which is nice. It's pretty objective and sort of like even tempered and stuff like that. On your side, you have a 7 and an 8 card, basically, in the upright. And it's the wisdom card and the truth card, so it's very like very positive, very sort of an extroverted energy and a sharing energy and like a championing energy and like getting really excited about things. People, projects, that kind of stuff, wanting to really give your energy towards some certain specific things, and maybe just because you feel like you have like an abundance of it because you're feeling so stable right now or something like that, right? Okay, I'll go ahead and pick these up, do like a timeline sort of thing just to get a little bit more of information on this. I'll be right back. Okay, timeline-wise, it looks like there's some kind of like, sort of in the beginning, I'm seeing like a, where that kind of like emotional switch a little bit is, and it's kind of, it almost looks like sort of like a temper tantrum thing, and then also like a maternal sort of like mothering, caring kind of vibe. So I don't know if it's, whether that's your sort of emotional switch or this is another person coming in or something like that, but it's almost like I'm seeing like kind of like huffing and puffing and kicking your feet and that kind of thing, and then it's almost like you're like exhausting yourself kind of, and just giving up on that. It's just not, it just all of a sudden doesn't seem worth it, whether you're getting to such an extreme state with it that you're just exhaust yourself, like I said, or you're having some kind of sort of inner realizations or something like that, or somebody's coming in maybe and like showing you some kind of care or something that's like making you calm down. And it could also be right here in the middle is a card that I was seeing from the last part too, which is indicating sort of, it could be a necessity, almost like something in your environment is like necessitating, I don't know, making it necessary for you to have to kind of calm down a little bit, and then through that you're able to sort of, you know, it's like coming through the other side where you can kind of see a little bit more clearly, or at least a little bit more positively, or just like getting kind of like, I don't know, like, I don't know, just it's like a breaking through sort of this like emotional like turmoil state into just, I don't know, I keep just thinking of like throwing a fit and then becoming exhausted, and then like kind of like, I don't know, you're just kind of almost over it. And it does look like there's like some communication and stuff towards the end, and so for that reason it kind of seems like it could be because of another like something in your environment, somebody else in your environment that's necessitating, I think that's a word, this behavior from you, and giving you this kind of like strength almost, and a resilience, and then things are, like I said, they're kind of coming over to your side in the end. Yeah, definitely some communication happening. Oh, my ears ringing. Yeah. I don't know why I'm not stopping. I guess that's it. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing like a chunk at the end that's like a kind of like a, it's a communication, but it's a really like it's a sort of like aggressive energy a little bit, and a sort of a head-to-head energy kind of, so it might be some kind of a confrontation or something like that, but it looks like it's going to kind of go your way, or something's going to go your way. Okay, I'll pick these up, put down some cards for some advice and an outcome, and I'll be right back. Okay, advice. Don't worry about competition and stuff like that, or like getting it right. Just kind of like try to use the momentum of this time, right? Because what it's kind of saying too is that this is very much like of the time, sort of, if that makes any sense. Like your strength is personal to you, and has a lot to do with like how you what you've been through, right? All the like really intense things that you've been through, dramatic things that you've been through, and like, yeah, just extremes that you've experienced. But your sort of downfall or blind spot could be like the tendency to like think that this is like forever, right? Or this is like, because you're like on that kind of like maybe a winning streak of sorts, that's like, it's like the like kind of culmination of everything you've done, or that it's, this sounds so rude, but I don't know, and it's more of like a luck kind of thing, or like a timing kind of thing, like, and it won't last forever, basically, is the main thing that I'm trying to say, and that you could kind of think of it as like, okay, like you're like on the up and up sort of thing, but it may be just sort of more like a little like bump up, I don't know, that sounds kind of strange, but your outcome is, again, this sort of same thing that I was seeing for the other part, which is you kind of getting what you want, sort of. But the caveat to that, I guess, is just to kind of not get that confused with, again, thinking that that's like objective truth or forever or something like that, right? It's still kind of just like a subjectively, like what you want is what you're getting. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's even what you deserve. That sounds kind of weird. It might be what you deserve, but it's like, it's not necessarily what you deserve, or necessarily what is actually like objectively the balanced thing, right? You just are kind of getting what you want, which is cool, and you should sort of run with it. If it's a high like energy time or something like that, they definitely want you to be taking things in, output, that kind of thing, like being creative and things like that, taking advantage of it, but just sort of seeing it more for what it is like a little like lucky streak to boost you ahead, but not you know, your sort of comeuppance. Is that used for positive things too? I have no idea. Okay, I'm gonna pick these up. What am I doing next? Putting down some cards for love, health, and career for June, July, August. Be right back. All right. Love, health, and career / finances. Okay. Love as in like relationships, friendships, anything, wherever it like seems to apply, right? It's all about familiarity, so. I'm seeing as the central kind of energy, I have it, my anchor card there. Could be where some of like the jealousy and people feeling like you're getting more than you deserve or something is coming from, but it could also indicate feeling or just a feeling of imperfection in your kind of relationships, right? Yeah, they want you to be strong about that, and forceful, especially about your physical needs. Yeah, and not try to kind of play them off and you know, see things as better than they are and that kind of thing, because then you just get stuck in this kind of cycle of like appeasing, and it's a sort of a superficial kind of energy, where the other one is much more, it's not necessarily an emotionally deep thing, it's very communicative, and it's positive, and it's really like educational, I want to say, if that makes sense. So it's definitely about sharing information, but they want you to be, again, like I said, very in touch with and forceful about your physical needs, especially your needs in general, but especially your physical needs, I think. Okay, health-wise, seeing a sense of maybe wanting to do things that you're not physically able to do or something like that, or that you yeah, that you're not able to do, wanting to do things that you're not able to do, kind of, and they want you to just be very in tune with the present reality, like what's happening. Like, don't go into imagination land on this, because I don't know, it looks like it'll just lead you to like this thing where you're like sort of like two parts just not really very integrated, right? Like what you want to do versus what you can do, like they're separate. There's not a lot of sort of cohesion there if you're just living kind of in your imagination and not being A, realistic, and B, proactive, that kind of thing, if that makes sense. And also like being consistent. Inconsistency also, it's advising against that. So definitely like consistency, paying attention to your body and everything around you in your sort of present state, and that can lead to like actually like kind of a more integrated knowledge of what's going on with your health and your mind and your body and that kind of thing. Yeah, again, it's a very like knowledge, informational kind of learning card here. Your career section and finances is where I'm actually seeing that sort of like things going your way in the sort of finale. I don't know what I'm saying. It's having a lot to do for sure with fact checking. What's it called? Communication. That kind of thing, being realistic, being practical, pragmatic, and basically kind of letting go of your fears rather than being sort of future obsessed, if that makes sense. Being a little bit more present tense and proactive, getting into things, remaining active, being a little bit like ingenuitive and that I don't know, and that kind of thing, like being a little bit less like plannery and like critical and like trying to like hyper control and hyper plan everything, and anticipate everything. They want you to kind of let go of that and like get your hands dirty a little bit more. Yeah, and that's bringing you to where you're actually kind of gaining, and the scales, like I said, are sort of tipping towards you, and away from a place where you're sort of fronting about that, I guess, if that makes sense, something like that. Like a false sense of that happening, where you can actually like gain quite a bit off of this if you do that, if you're a little bit more present tense oriented. And these could all be because it's like I said, like that time for you to use the high energy a little bit, right? Just while you have it, so you want to kind of be in the present tense, because that's where your sort of power is right now, I guess. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.